ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and partners. It is with great pleasure that my colleague from the Swedish Embassy is here to attend this launching ceremony for the Regional Enforcement Network project. We are fully confident that the project will reach its intended development goals and that the financial contribution from Sweden will be well put to use. Sweden has for a long time been committed to international efforts and cooperation to control the harmful effects of chemicals. In 2001, we were the proud hosts of the meeting that launched the Stockholm Convention on persistent organic pollutants. Sweden was also one of the main proponents of the 2007 EU regulation called REACH, which addresses the production and use of chemicals within the European Union. REACH has been termed the most important and complex EU legislation in decades. Sweden has also been active in this area through our international development cooperation, not least in this region. The Swedish Chemicals Agency, for example, is currently implementing a program in this region aiming at strengthening chemicals management capacity, focusing on pesticides. In that program, the Swedish Chemicals Agency and its cooperation partners are particularly focusing on pesticides, since the inappropriate use of these chemicals has a detrimental effect on the people using them and on the environment. In this case, it concerns mostly agricultural pesticides and thus addresses the poorer and more vulnerable parts of the populations in this region. Our cooperation with UNEP regarding chemicals has been ongoing for quite some time. It started already in 1992 when we started to work together on the phasing out on ozone-depleting substances by financing a regional network of government officers in charge of their country's commitments to the Montreal Protocol. Global efforts to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of ozone-depleting substances have been very successful, although there have been reports of instances of smuggling of these chemicals to circumvent the international agreement. Precisely to increase the capacity in this region to control the potential illegal trade of these chemicals, Sweden in 2004 agreed to add to the ozone-depleting substances project a component for regional networking of customs officials. The customs network initially focused on building capacity on preventing the unauthorized trade across borders of ozone-depleting substances only, but has over time expanded to include many other potentially harmful chemicals. I am now happy to see that this customs network activities are continuing. With the expansion in this region, the economic expansion, the increasing trade and consumption, that means an increasing flow of products across border, which is of course in general good. But it could also increase strain on the border controls to avert unauthorized trade. Much effort is underway to strengthen border control and customs inspection, for example through the GMS cooperation coordinated by the Asian Development Bank. The UNEP-led Regional Enforcement Network project fills a much-needed gap and role in strengthening customs officers to meet the demands of increasing regional trade. And this is very much in line with the Swedish government's priorities for development cooperation in this region. Sweden is actually one of few bilateral agencies putting emphasis and financial resources on strengthening regional cooperation. We do this because we do believe that regional cooperation is important. As a small country, Sweden has always had to seek regional and international cooperation in order to develop and grow. And we believe that through this cooperation, countries can grow stronger than they can do on their own. Our current strategy or regional strategy for Asia, focusing on Southeast Asia, covers a period from 2010 to 2015. And the overarching objective of the strategy is greater respect for human rights, more sustainable use of natural resources, and planning for communal services for people living in poverty, and also increasing regional integration. We have three sectors within this strategy. It's democracy, human rights, it's sustainable services, and it's environment and climate. And within the environment and climate sector, chemicals management is among the prioritized focal areas. Our cooperation strategy further emphasizes that trade-related support that increases regional integration shall cut across all three main sectors for our cooperation. And I also want to emphasize that the underpinning of all Swedish development cooperation is the perspective of the poor and the rights perspective. I believe that the new phase of the UNEP-led project, Regional Enforcement Network, very much will contribute to the above-mentioned development goals, and therefore wish the project a very successful implementation. Thank you.